All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Trey here. So in this video, I'm going to demystify power-ups, checkpoints, and in-app purchases. Now, this is a new build that we're releasing today, and just like some of the previous videos, I started diving in here and I found a few things I thought could be improved. Me and Nick sat down, we hashed it all out, we had a fight. Not really, I'm playing. And then we ended up coming up with a solution together, and we put it in here, and I think it's really good. I think it's going to solve some of the issues you guys had, make the workflow easier, and also just build some cooler games. Now, you probably noticed I sound a little different right now. I'm a little under the weather. I went to Disney last weekend and got in a fight with Disney. And Disney apparently won this round. So I think post-launch in Disney, it took out the whole family. So anyway, so we're going to go ahead and I'm winging this just like usual. You guys know how I do this stuff. So bear with me. I'm just going to show you guys how to use all this stuff. And I think this video will help you out a real lot. All right, so I'm going to pull over some art over here. I've got a really simple game. And this is a Flappy Bird style game. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit faster. Let's do move speed at 50, and let's do time warp at 60, and let's see what this is like. Yeah, it might be even a little too fast, but no, I guess it's all right. Because I want to see, I want you guys to see me going through. Oh yeah, I got to change those collision points. We're just going to do a couple quick circles. I want you guys to see me building out checkpoints first. That's what I want to first focus on. So let's go ahead and get these collisions set up. There we go. And yeah, so we should be good. I'm going to go up here and do edit and align scene. So these are going to be in order. This will be 1, this one will be 2, and this one will be 3. And we'll check it out real quick, make sure we're looking good. And then I'm going to save this just in case I have any issues. There we go. And yeah. Oh, all right. So as you can see, no game over screen, nothing, just really simple. I'm going to save this and then we'll get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're ready and we're gonna make some power-ups. Now, I know this can be confusing. We decided to make some really open-ended software. We could have gone with a template-based system. It would have taken about a third of the time to create, and it would have been a lot easier for you guys to learn. But if you bear with me in this video, you're gonna see how this thing really opens some crazy doors. I'm gonna show you checkpoints. I'm gonna show you in-app purchases. I'm gonna show you how you can turn checkpoints into a warping system and warp around like you can in Super Mario Brothers and stuff like that. I mean, there's some really crazy things you can do because we made this so open. I mean, I'm going to show you how you could make a button and then just have it every time they touch that button that they get 3 coins, but they can only touch it 3 times a day. I mean, just really crazy stuff, okay? So there's a lot you can do with this, and the reason it might be daunting and a little bit confusing at first is because it is really complicated. You can do a lot of amazing stuff. All right, so now let's create a power-up. We're gonna do a very simple power-up. I'm gonna start simple and then show you how complex and crazy all this stuff can get. So what we're gonna do is just grab an icon here. I'm gonna drag and drop it into the power-up section. This is going to be a checkpoint. A checkpoint, a coin, everything that actually does an action in the game is considered a power-up. Now I'm gonna click right here. And we're gonna make sure that we say that this sets the checkpoint. All right, now this is pretty crazy. We're gonna talk about this. You can actually turn checkpoints into things in the game like warping. All right, you can have it one set one, and then another, you get a different power up and it takes you to the next checkpoint. It's really crazy. You could have it where it automatically restarts you in the game. You do some really wild stuff, but we're just gonna set a checkpoint, that's it. Now, one thing I do wanna do is once I collect this, I wanted to do a cool animation. So I'm gonna scroll up here. I'm gonna grab this explode small right here. And I'm going to drag and drop that over the power-up animation section. Now, you'll see a few different options here. We have animation placement. Well, that would be on the character. That means as soon as I get it, it would make this puff of smoke happen on the character. We don't want to do that. We want it to be on the power-up. Full screen will actually take up the whole entire screen. Now, I don't want it to overlay. That means that it would go just on top of this. Instead, I want it to replace. And I don't want it to loop, right? This is in here. I'll show you guys real quick. Let me pull this up. But this is, there we go. Let me go to the top here and go down. So this is like a puff of smoke, right? That goes away. So I don't want it to do it over and over. That'd be weird. So I'm going to choose single play. Now, we added these options. These are new. So was some of these checkpoint things that we're doing. This is in the build that's released on Friday, September 12th. If you don't have this build, it's going to have this functionality. Really cool stuff. And the reason we did this is because you can do so much with it. In this case, I want the power-up just to disappear. But what if you had invincibility and like Super Mario Brothers, you wanted your character to cycle through a bunch of different rainbow colors? Well, you could grab a PNG sequence that did the rainbow thing, and then you could drop it in here, and then you could choose character, you could choose replace, and then you would choose looped, and it will change how the character works. This is something me and Nick thought about all week to try to figure out the best user interface flow for this. And it works for everything, guys. It works for everything from coins. You can do really crazy stuff all the way down to your checkpoints, strike, invincibility, all this stuff. All right, so in this case, we're going to do power up and we're going to do replace and we're going to do single play. All right, so now what I'm going to do is turn this so when we hit the bottom, we die. And you're going to see how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the play button. I'm actually going to show you why it's not going to work, okay? So this is where people can get really confused. We're going to go here and we're going to get this, all right? But check this out. When I hit restart, I'm starting at the beginning again every time. I'm not starting where the checkpoint is. Why is that? Well, there's two different functions in Buildbox. I'm going to go now over to the game over screen. And you have two functions. I'm going to grab a button. This is going to be a nameless button, all right? I'm going to drag it and drop it into the button section. This is my game over screen. You can see we have restart game, which is what happens when you hit the little refresh button on preview. But we also have restart from checkpoint. All right, this is very different. So what I'm going to do is hit play and restart here. And watch this. Now when I get the checkpoint and I restart, boom, I go right where that checkpoint is. Back to the checkpoint every time. So pretty cool stuff, right? And that's really important. I'm using this in Phases. If you, no one's played the version of Phases I have with this. Phases was only live for like 2 days. It got picked up by a big publisher. We're planning on submitting it next week, and you'll see checkpoints used throughout the whole entire game. And you'll see some other cool stuff too. So now check this out. Let's say we wanted to do something a little bit cooler. We wanted to add one more button, and we're gonna call this button, I'm gonna grab one from over here. I'm gonna grab just a little white thing here. And we're gonna grab this button and it's gonna be restart game. All right, so this one is gonna be restart. This one's gonna be restart checkpoint. So now we're gonna play. We're gonna go this. And now when we hit this one, we're gonna restart there. But of course, if we hit this other one, then we're gonna restart from the beginning. All right, but we have more options, which you'll learn about in a little bit, where we can skip checkpoints. You can charge 99 cents to skip. That's what I'm doing with Phases. You can do a whole lot more. You can even do the stuff like Candy Crush does, where you have a power-up, and it's a button on here, and then it can be like you only have 3 continues per day. And then if you run out of the continues, then you can purchase some, or you can wait 24 hours for more continues to be created. Really crazy stuff, and it's really open-ended. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and talk about how to skip. This is kind of cool. So let's say that you wanted to add in another power-up. We're going to do this pink one here. And we're going to put this as power-up right here. And this is going to be a special power-up, because what I'm going to do is make this impossible. You're not going to be able to pass this. But if you go down here and you get this power-up, it's going to warp you over to here, because this power-up is the special next checkpoint one, all right? Now, this would be used for 2 different reasons. I'm gonna show you, you're gonna love this. But first, let me show you this way. So we could go, all right, cool. So we go down here, boom, and look at that, where you just warp over there, just like in Super Mario Brothers or something. Really awesome. But let me show you another way. What if we added this in here, but then we decided to delete it, all right? And we called this one next checkpoint. I'll do the spelling better on that. Now check this out. I'm going to go back over here to the game over screen, and we're going to have just restart game. That's it. But we're going to bring one square button over, and the square button is going to be a power-up button. And when you click this power-up button, it's going to take you to the next checkpoint. It's going to allow you to skip. All right, so here we go. I've got this checkpoint. I'm going to fall down here. It's game over. You'll see I have a 3 here. I'll explain that in a second. But if I touch this button, we already know what happens. I'm going to start over. But if I touch this one, I'm going to warp over to the next checkpoint. And then boom, we hit there and we went to that second checkpoint. All right, so now let's shoot back here to the game over screen. Remember I had that 3 right here. Well, why do I have that? Well, first off, that shows how many of these I have left. It works for every single power-up that we have, not just for the skip, not just for the continue. I mean, it works for any of them, right? If you had invincibility and you want a button, and by the way, guys, you don't have to put these buttons just here on the game over. You can put them on the game field. You go right here to game field, drag a button, and it's a power-up button. You put it right here, and then you can make it, the next checkpoint. They hit it, and boom, they go to the next checkpoint. And you can have it so they can only do it one time. And that's what that little arrow there is, or that number rather, is. All right. So this right here, that number shows how many more you have of it. That's a good example. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and take this over to the game field. We're going to drag and drop this in here. It's a power up button. We're going to keep it at the bottom right. We're going to give them 1, and it's going to be again to go to the next checkpoint. Now, how cool is this? So we're playing the game, and then boom, we hit it, and we go to the next checkpoint anytime, but we can only do it 1 time during the game. Just one idea. This is, again, it's so open. There's so much stuff you can do. So what's the timeout? This is so cool. So, one of the games we obviously have modeled and thought about was Candy Crush, right? They made about $1 billion gazillion dollars. And if you notice what they do is they give you, it's not skip checkpoints. Instead, they do restarts, right? And you can do the same thing with restarting a checkpoint as well. That's a power-up. Anything that's a power-up, you can do all this stuff too. Right? So pretty remarkable. This is so cool, guys. You can go here, you can go to the game over screen, and then you can add a button. And the only button on the game over screen is right here, boom, button is going to be restart from checkpoint, all right? Or actually, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's go over here and make it a power-up button. And this one instead is going to be, we're going to go back over here. We're going to add a new power up. We're going to grab a green one. And this power up, we're just going to delete it because it's only going to be used in the menu. And this one, guys, is going to be a restart checkpoint. All right, it's a power up version of that. All right, so we're going to grab this again. It's a power up button. And this one is green, which is restart checkpoint. And then we only have 3 of them. So we have 3 times after game over that we can restart this checkpoint. And let's see here. So we're going to go, boom, we're going to fall down, boom. So we only have 3 of these. All right, boom, 2, 1, game over. Nothing you can do. It's just it. All right, now what you can do is you can call this button continue. Then you can have another button in here, and this one will be restart game. So this way they don't just get stuck forever. And let me show you again. So boom, we have 3. That will continue straight from this power up, but we hit this one, it restarts completely. So we got a power up, boom, that restarts from the power up, that one restarts from the beginning. How freaking cool is that? It's like that's awesome, right? So we have like continue and then restart, and continue only has 3. All right, now let's take it up a level. This is so cool. So what if we said this has a timeout? You only get 1, and once you use it, it takes 60 minutes, 1 hour to get another one. So check this out. This is kind of similar to how Candy Crush does it. They do it like they'll give you 3, and then you have to wait, I think, 20 minutes. So we'll just copy them and do that. So boom, it shows 3, boom, 2. Look, you can see how long it takes. We got the countdown now. Boom. So we have to wait 19 minutes and 54 seconds counting down. And then once it gets to it, we get 1 more. Once it goes up, another one. And then once we get up to 3, which is our max, it stops refilling. It works for everything, guys. It works for invincibility. You can have a button. Instead, all we have to do is go over here, click on this green, make this be invincibility instead. Now, when we touch this, we're invincible for 5 seconds. All right? Nothing can hurt us for 5 seconds. And we can have that count down to 3, and then have the same exact thing. Now here's the really awesome part, is we can then say they can purchase more at any time. How cool is that? All right, and now let's take it a step farther. Well, first off, let's do the purchase, all right? Really simple. We can pull this, it'd be a purchase button. And it's a power up, and it's going to do the green power up, which what we'll do for the sake of keeping this simple, we're gonna make green power up is a restart from the checkpoint, all right? And we're gonna call this restart checkpoint, or we'll call it continue to keep it really simple. All right, so we go over here, and this one right here is for continue, but we only have 3 of them, they're free. And then if you want to purchase continues at any time, that can be a separate button, and that one's right here, and it's a power up section. continue. Now we're going to click on in-app purchase and put in the store identifier. And when you buy, we can make it so it's buy and use. So you buy it immediately. We can make it so you use it immediately when you buy it. We can do quantity. You get 3 of them. And we can say, and call it instead, guys, for 99 cents, refill all continues. How cool is that? All right, we can even have it so instead of buying with in-app purchases, that they can buy it with coins in the game, 1,500. I mean, it's insane, guys. We got like any of these power-ups can be mixed and matched any possible way you can think of. You can activate all of them from the menu. You can activate. I know I sound, I know I'm going crazy on this. This is so cool. This is what we've been working on all week, right? We've been working on this all week. We're like, man, what would be like the ultimate setup for this power-up stuff? So, and here it is, 7:30 at night. I'm going a little crazy, but at the office. But I'm super pumped about this because we've been working on this all week, and I think it's really, really, really cool. Just so much different stuff you can do with it. All right, so power-ups. Now, obviously, we have a purchase button here. Anytime you drag it over, you drag it on a purchase, and that can be anywhere. It can be, right on the game screen. It can be on the game over. It can be on the main menu. Then instead of power-up, you can do remove ads. That's the only other in-app purchase we have right now. Now, you're probably wondering about how to buy coins. Well, it's pretty easy. We're just going to go over here. We're going to grab this yellow one. I think that'll make sense. This is going to be a huge coin, and we're going to delete it because we're only going to use this. We're just bringing this over to put it in our system so then we can bring a button over. And we're going to make this be coin, but instead of just 10, you're going to get 2,000 coins with this. All right, and then that's all we're going to do. And then we're going to go over here, and we're going to say in the coin shop, we can drag and drop the same image over. And we're going to do an image, and then maybe I would say right below this, let's see if I can add some text to this. All right, then we can have buy 1,000 coins. That's the most beautiful image ever. And we're going to put this right here. It's going to be a purchase button. It's going to be right there. And we're going to do a power up. And we're going to do yellow. If you remember, that was the coins. It's going to be an in-app purchase. Put in our store identifier. It gets one of these. You don't want to put multiple. I mean, and the reason if you're thinking like, why would you have like the quantity right there as well, because this is all mixed and matched. When we add more power-ups later on, we're not done with power-ups. They're all just going to boom, go in our system. That's it's all about the pipeline, right? We wanted to build a pipeline with this that was really phenomenal, that we could drop stuff in and then boom, it just works and goes with it. So, I mean, you wouldn't really want to. The coins are 1,000 in the pack, right? I mean, you could do 2 and it would be 2,000. And, but you wouldn't really want to most likely do that. I don't know, maybe you do, it's up to you. You can do buy and use, wouldn't really affect this, but for like invincibility, it would automatically use it if it's usable. If not, it wouldn't crash or anything, it would just not do anything. All right, so this is cool. Auto hide will simply hide the button after 5 seconds, all right? So it's pretty amazing. You can actually put like some scarcity in here and say, look, this button's only gonna last for 5 seconds. You have 5, like think about this. What if you had, let's go over here, let's go to game over screen, and we have this button, and it's going to be, instead of this, let's see, can I mark this out? Let's see, this is gonna be the most ugly way of marking out ever. There we go. All right, we're gonna do old school arcade style, all right? Let's see, there we go. We're gonna do 99 to continue, 99 cents to continue, 5-second countdown, all right? In the future, I'd like to have an actual countdown. We'll work on that. I want to right now get this out to you guys first. All right, so we're going to pull this over. It's going to be a purchase button. And this is going to purchase a continue. And it's only going to last for 5 seconds. Then it's going to disappear. It's going to be in-app purchase. We put in the store identifier. It's going to be buy and use. So as soon as they click on it, it tries to pull up a purchase. If they purchase it, and then boom, they can continue. So think about that. Maybe 5 seconds would be too much, but this is exactly what the old arcade machines did in the 1980s. They would do the scarcity tactic where they would go, all right, there's 20 seconds left if you want to continue, and then if you don't continue in 20 seconds, then that's it. So you can actually do that. Like you can turn the iPhone. Hey, what's funny? I looked this up. In 1980, a quarter was about 99 cents. Now it's like 92 cents or something, like really close. So, I mean, you can actually make like an arcade style game just like they did back in the day. So that's pretty cool. And again, I do want to have an actual countdown timer on that as well. We just haven't had a chance to implement that yet because as you can see, We got a lot of cool changes. All right, guys, so that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, but the crazy part is making power-ups buttons. That's really, really wild. You can do stuff like simply have a shop. And in your shop, you have a bunch of different power-ups there. Like if you go play the game Sonic Jump, any of the newer Sonic style endless games, you'll notice that they have a shop and you can go buy stuff. You can build that kind of stuff in here. That was the original intention. It wasn't really to do all this crazy stuff on game over screens and on gameplay screens. Then we started playing around. We were like, wow, you really can. Let me give you one more example, okay? So let's say we had a kill all enemies. Let's go down to power-ups. Let's grab one more and we'll grab this red one. And this is going to be the kill all enemies power-up, okay? And we are going to make this power-up type kill all enemies and blah, blah, blah. We could do all that stuff too, all right? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the game field. Now I'm gonna grab the same image. I'm gonna make it a power-up button. I'm gonna pull it down here in the bottom right. We're gonna make sure we choose that this is kill all enemies. It's gonna have a max refill of 3, but I'm gonna make sure this restarts every time, or refills rather, every time you restart the game. So this is gonna be a bomb like you'd have on games like 1942 and these airplane games. Now we're not gonna do unlimited use. You only get 3 and you only get them when you play the game. Every time you restart the game and start from the beginning, you get 3 more. It's not, we don't charge for it, any of that kind of stuff. You could, but in this case, we're not going to. Now, visibility threshold. This is a real crazy one, guys. This is based on your high score. You can say only when they're 50% of their high score. So if their high score is at 25,000 and you put at 100%, then that means we're not going to show this button until they get to 25,000. So for example, this is where it gets really wild. For example, you could do a pay to continue style button only when they've beaten their high score or when they're in 90% of their high score. How wild is that? Or 50%. So if their high score is 10,000, then if they get to 5,000, then we show that pay to continue button. Or you can have a special power-up button that gives them invincibility and only pops up after a certain amount of time. That's visibility threshold. But let's go back to where we are. So refill at start 3, and you click this. And of course, we can also do the label offset. So we could say, let's say on the X, let's move this at 150 pixels, and we'll do negative 150. I have no clue where that's going to be. And let's reset. And yeah, all right, so that's not even showing on there right now. And it looks like I actually did that too much. So first off, let me go back over here, remove this so that's not in our way. Let's go to the game field, and I don't know, let's do just like 25 and negative 25. See where that is. And yeah, so you can see the 3 down there. We could make that bigger. We could go over here and make it like 150. Want to do something like 80. Don't want it to be jumbled like that. About 70. Anyway, you get the idea. You can play around with that, and you can make it look really, really nice and actually show. And part of the problem is this is big. I do want to mention one thing. As you scale this out and make it big, it will make those numbers bigger. So if you make it really small, it's going to have these numbers be small. So you can see it's really small down there. It says 3. And we do that on purpose. That way you can scale it with, with how you want to do it. But make sure that you don't make this too big, because this would be too big, your default image. And I might decide to change that later on. So anyway, you guys get it. That's Power-Ups. I'm really excited about that. I think we've implemented this amazingly well, and it's real scalable, which is awesome. A lot of cool stuff we could do in the future, but we got plenty to play with now for sure. So, all right, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Trey Smith, I'm going to get out of the office and try to rest up, get over this cold. I'll talk to you later. Bye.